Good evening. We will start in about another minute. Give people time to get in into the session. Thanks for coming. Hi, Charles. Welcome to the third week of the Small Business Seminar by DC3. This week, the first week, we talked about basics of starting a business. And then week two, we talked about financial statements and loans. And then this week, we will discuss marketing, sales, and HR. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat and I will look at those periodically and try to answer anything that you have. Also, please remember that after at 7:30, we'll go into a Zoom session where you can ask your questions if we run out of time or if you don't want to ask them on the live feed. So the first part is about the marketing plan. And this is just a small, like a snippet of what a marketing plan is. So you can do your marketing plan because you know what products and services that you are going to offer. So the first part is you have to decide what are your initial products and services. So I think someone in here had like a coffee shop. Are you just going to offer types of coffee and tea, and then maybe small like donuts or some type of pastries? If you have a restaurant, what's going to be your menu? And then if you are like in a professional service business, are you going to, what type of, let's say you're in legal, what type of law will you offer? Will you offer just commercial litigation? And then you'll go into maybe some type of construction services because it's totally different. So what is your initial product and service? And then the next part is you decide what will be your future products and services. And then you'll decide in the marketing plan, is that 3 to 5 years or is that 2 years? So whatever you decide, you can put it in your marketing plan. And then the next step is how will you market it? So how will you market your business? So of course, you're going to talk to friends and family, but will you buy advertisement? Will you run Facebook and Instagram commercials or spotlights? How will you market your business? Sometimes you can market in neighborhood magazines. If you have a large budget, you may try to market in some type of on the side of a dart bus or something, or a billboard. So your strategies will include advertising, promotions. What deals are you gonna make? So sometimes you'll see like Subway say, if you buy this type of sandwich, you'll get this one for free. Are you gonna have any type of promotions like, I'll give you the first hour free of my professional service, but the second hour is like $50 or $100, something? You decide what you want, what you can tolerate in your business structure. And then public relations. Who can you talk to give you a spotlight, and who can publicize your business? The next thing is how will your sales be made? So will you accept only cash? Will you extend credit? Will you offer coupons, and will you have discount days? Like maybe if you have a restaurant or a coffee shop, you'll say on Tuesdays, you look to see what days are your slowest. And then you'll say on Tuesdays, I'll offer a free appetizer with a dinner, or you can discount drinks or things like that. Or if you can tell them if you pay in cash, you'll give them a credit of 10% off their order. It's just all types of things that you can do to bring people into your business. The next one is how to succeed with the marketing strategy. So you have to define your market. If you have, let's say, you have the coffee shop. Where do you want the coffee shop to be? Where do you want the restaurant to be? Do you want the restaurant to be, like, for instance, in COVID, a lot of people's marketing strategy was having their restaurant or any type of shop downtown Dallas. When COVID hit and everybody had to go home, the restaurants and the businesses downtown that rely on foot traffic or order in took a hit. So now, what's your marketing strategy? Will you be maybe off the freeway? Will you, if you have a standalone facility, are you going to be off the freeway? Will you be next to a school? If you're next to a school, then just know your busy months will be maybe August to May. You may have summer school, or you may have people coming by your shop, but just know that your high seasons will be from August to May. And also you will also have like a slow season if like maybe the last 2 weeks in December and the first week in January when the kids are out of school. So, and who's your target market? So if you have a t-shirt business, do you want to sell just to football teams like Little League? Do you want to sell to school districts? Do you want to sell to companies? You have to decide who your target market is and where you think you can be most successful at. A suggestion is to hold monthly marketing meetings with employees and associates. Now, if it's just you and your business and it's a small business, you may gather like a few of your friends to help you out that will work for free, that you are just bouncing ideas off of. You may also talk to different people in the industry who have like a marketing background. People like to hear themselves talk, so you may be able to get free advice to someone who is like a chief marketing officer. They just want to mentor you in your business, and so they can help you. You can discuss your strategy and your status and solicit marketing ideas from them. So there are a lot of things that you can do to help market your business, even if you don't have employees. But your friends are helpful because they see what works in their company or what they will buy. So establish a marketing public relations advisory referral team. And then with them, like if they're your friends, if they sell, let's say to their daughter's dance team, you may offer $50 in cash, or you may offer some type of restaurant gift card or a gas card. People like free things. Just make it work for you and your business. The next thing is to join an association or organization related to your profession. Sometimes that's kind of hard. I would say like let's say a chamber of commerce, because each of the cities down in southern Dallas County has a chamber of commerce. There's also a Greater Southwest Black Chamber of Commerce. I think they still have a marketing committee. And then I know the Black Chamber has a marketing committee. If you're certified, a minority certified business, you have a choice of DFW Minority Supplier Development Council, and then they have a marketing committee. And we talked about the Black Chamber. If you're in construction, there's the Black contractors, Hispanic contractors, Asian contractors, and then there's also like the Association of General Contractors. Each one of them have a marketing arm, and you can join them to help market your business, because usually they'll ask volunteers to go to their monthly meetings or to lunches or events they have, and you get to meet the people that are coming in. So you can pass them your business card and you can be out in front. So when people see you, they'll know exactly who you are, and then they'll associate you with your business. And if they need any type of services that you offer, then they will pick up the card, pick up the phone and call you. So think about joining an association or organization related to your profession. Attend marketing seminars. Sometimes the different chambers of commerce have marketing seminars or speakers that come in. The Dallas Chamber of Commerce, usually when you go to the chamber events, if you're not a member, even if you are a member, they do cost. So see how much they cost. And you can always read a marketing book. You can buy it from Amazon or from a bookstore, or you can just go to the local library and check it out. So that's always helpful, to read a marketing book. The next thing is you can go to a local university or college and get a marketing intern. Most of the time, they don't charge a lot. Maybe can ask for free help, but you may be able to pay them $10 an hour. And but if they're free, because they're looking for the experience for their resume, is why sometimes they do work for free. They can run your social media. The college students can run Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these type of different social platforms. And now I think it's called Linktree. Linktree will I guess combine all of them together. So once you post to one, it goes out to all of them. And so the interns are really good at for your social media to get you out there. So that's a good thing. And then, like I said, it provides the intern with marketing experience. So one of the suggestions is to engage in at least one marketing activity a day. Either read a book or subscribe to a marketing newsletter or other publication, just so you'll know what is working in your industry or what you could help to put your business out in front of the public. The next step is to determine a percentage of gross income to spend annually on marketing. Sometimes small businesses do not have a marketing budget, but you should. Sometimes it's anywhere from 2 to 4%, but anything less than $5 million probably should be like 7 to 8% of your annual budget. Now, if you're over $5 million, you can increase it to 10 to 12, but it just kind of really depends on what type of business you have, whether you have the cash. Because if you do not have the cash, then you may have to go down to 2 to 4%. And then also, if you do have the cash, you may be able to run ads in different publications, neighborhood publications. You may be able to buy sponsorship in like high school. I guess those little high school books that they sell, the football team sells, and the drill team and baseball team, and you can advertise there to their parents. Um, Always set specific marketing goals every year and review and adjust those quarterly. Uh, you have to review your marketing plan quarterly at least, because you want to make sure if you are paying for something like Facebook or Instagram that you are getting the clicks to your business and the revenue that you expect from it. Always carry a business card with you at all times. I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I don't have my business cards. I'll leave them in the car, but you never know who you'll run into who will need your services. Or you could just see someone and think, hey, I think they need my services, or just walk up and start a conversation. So always be prepared. And then when you maintain a consultant card for finding like designers, writers, or other marketing professionals. So when you meet other people, if you don't have this expertise, then you can have like a binder, a file of people. Let's say you need a new brochure. You met someone who does a marketing brochure. You just pull out their card, you get the list of services that they provide you and the cost, and you decide which ones you need. Um, and sometimes that leads to hiring a marketing consultant that can help you conduct several brainstorming sessions. So there's always different ways out there to find someone who can help you in your business, whether it's free from an intern to a marketing consultant. Make sure you know what your strategy is and how much it'll cost and what's working for you on a quarterly and then yearly basis. The public relations. Now, this is a section that's free. So you could get a publicity photo taken and close it with a press release. I've had a couple small business clients do this. They may be opening their facility, or they are launching a new product. So what they do is have someone take their picture and send it to the local newspapers and then to the local news channels for a story ideal. It can sometimes can go on their websites, or it could just be like an interesting concept of what's going on in your industry. Consistently review newspapers and magazines for possible PR opportunities. Um, you never know what events are going on. People that you want to meet in the industry may be at an event that you can attend. You can pay to attend, or you can volunteer for the event and see them for free. Sometimes you can submit tip articles to newsletters and newspapers. And I've done that before. So I work in the construction industry. So I submitted information on insurance and bonding. It was 4 weeks, and I submitted information about different types of insurance, the process of bonding, what can help you get over the hump if you are denied. And I received a lot of calls about services, people inquiring about my services. So that was just free. Is the time that I took to write the article and submit by the deadline for the people. You can conduct industry research and develop a press release or an article to announce important discovery in your field. So this is not something that you've discovered, you just heard about it and you want to put it out there so people will know what's going on. And then that makes you look like the subject matter expert. And so people may call you to find out more about the situation. Create a press kit and keep its contents current. You can, with your brochure, press release, maybe a headshot, and then a few facts about your company. Keep that current. And so if people call you and say, hey, I want to know more about your business, you can just send it to them. And so here's something that's hard to do: cold calling. I don't like it, but sometimes it has to be done. And when we say cold calling, let's say you are selling t-shirts. And so you're trying to get business. Make 2 cold calls a day. Figure out who the little leagues are, and find out who the coaches are, or maybe the directors, and ask for their business. Sometimes they may answer, sometimes they won't, but make sure you follow up. And then let's say you're trying to work for a school district or the city or the county, figure out who the purchase managers are and the buyers. And then you call and ask them, what's the process? When are you releasing another bid opportunity at the county for t-shirts? Sometimes if you had a catering business, they have those type of job orders out there that the departments can use. If they're looking for like an event caterer, they can just call you up and you can be on a list of people. Just make sure you make 2 calls every single day. They can be calls, they can be follow-up emails. If you don't hear from them, keep calling them, especially purchase managers and buyers, because they get a lot of calls every day. But if they see your name enough or hear your voicemail enough, then they will remember when they have things coming out. Oh, hey, I need to send that to the advertising promotions company. Let me find the email and send them the bid, or put them on the list to be able to bid. So cold calls work. Maybe you don't like to do it, but it has to be done to grow your business. Follow up on direct mailings, email messages, and broadcast faxes. People don't really fax anymore, but sometimes they do. It may go to the email address with a friendly telephone call. So if you're sending an email, make sure you follow up with a phone call. Hey, did you receive my email? I'm so-and-so, so-and-so. Read newspapers, business journal, and trade publications for new business openings, personal appointments, and promotion announcements made by companies. Send your brochures to the appropriate individuals and firms. Sometimes, let's say the city of DeSoto has a new purchasing director, and they came from the outside of the city. Well, when that's announced, you figure out the address and the email of the person, and then you would send them information about your company. Because if they're from outside of DeSoto or the area, then maybe they don't know all of the vendors. But if you introduce yourself and go to the different events that you know they'll be at, you can get in front of them to talk about your company. Give your brochure cards to lawyers, accountants, printers, bankers, temp agencies. Let's say that you're an accountant. Well, if you give your business card brochure to a lawyer, they may have a client that's in some type of accounting problems, or they may have somebody may come in, somebody may start a business, they're helping start a business and they need an accountant. They'll give them your card. Hey, contact this person. And it's not necessarily that you know them, it's just that your card is handy for them to pick up and give to them, or make a copy and give it to them. People always are looking for suggestions. So make sure you just different people and hand them your cards and brochures. Marketing performance. We talked about evaluating your performance, especially with things that you pay for, like Facebook and Instagram. You want to make sure that your posts are being seen and your business is picking up by those type of people. Um, just make sure that you audit the company's performance at least quarterly. And here are the key questions. Is the company doing all it can to be customer oriented? And sometimes when you're a small business, you're so worried about the next contract that you don't follow up on old business. And so when you follow up, if you sold, let's say, a church group some t-shirt, or you delivered some food to them for a meeting, make sure you follow up and see, hey, is there anything we could have done better? Do you need any more services? We're here for you. And you may offer a discount, a 10% discount for booking with you again. Sometimes people do that. Do employees ensure the customers are satisfied and leave wanting to come back? Sometimes people with social media are not people persons, if that makes sense. And they may think that they are warm and friendly, but they're really not. So that may be like a training class on how to treat customers that you may have to do when you have employees. So just make sure that your employees or your salespeople that you have out there are leaving a good impression and wanting people to come back and do business with you. Is it easy for the customer to find what he or she wants at a competitive price? Is your website hard to maneuver? Are your brochure, is it busy? Is it like, does it have a lot of things on there? Can they find out that if I want a t-shirt that's 2 colors, front and back, it costs this much? Is that on your brochure? Or when people call, can the person give them a price, an estimated price? How do you make it easy for people to come back again and again? The next thing, these are workplace posters. These are, once you get an employee, these are posters and you have a standing facility. These are just posters that you need to put up like in the break room or somewhere that's required by the Department of Labor. And the first one is equal employment opportunity poster. It just says that you will not discriminate against anyone under the EEO laws. Fair Labor Standards Act poster establishes a minimum wage, overtime, pay, record keeping, and youth employment standards affecting employees in the federal, state, and local governments. So it's just, you may pay them more than $7.25, but the poster says that they won't get anything less than $7.25. And if they work overtime, then, if they are an hourly employee, overtime is required. The next one is Family and Medical Leave Act, and that is just usually for companies over 50 employees, but you may decide that you want to offer that because that's one of the benefits of working for a small company. It just has all the information about major provisions of the Family and Medical Leave Act, telling employees how to file a complaint. The Davis-Bacon poster, which is the federal law that says sometimes, so let's say you're working at DFW Airport and it's money from the federal government. So you may want to pay them $7.25 an hour. However, depending on the project that you're working on, the federal labor rate is $13. And so that just says, and all this will be in the contract. Whenever you sign a contract and it's federal, it tells you how much the minimum you have to pay the employees. And so you put that in your bid price. So it's not like that you have to eat that $7.25 to, let's say, $13 an hour. Is you put that price, you read the bid, you put that price in the bid, and then you go from there. Usually on the federal jobs, if they have enacted Davis-Bacon, they would have a certified payroll, and then you have to prove that you paid the people that you hired minimum $13 an hour. The next bullet point is just the posters for the state of Texas, and I think the state of Texas posters just says that you have to tell your employees when they're going to get paid. So whether they get paid on the 1st and the 15th or the 31st, or if they get paid every Friday, you just have to tell them what their pay schedule is. The next one is hiring a new employee. And so sometimes with small businesses, the cost of hiring an employee is a lot more expensive and people don't really take into consideration, but we'll get there. Define the job responsibilities is the first one. Make sure when you are looking for an employee, you have a list of job responsibilities, because you don't want anybody to come back and sue you and say that this was not in my job responsibility, but they made me. Write a job description. You can post the job online, community websites like TV, radio. I think some of the radio stations have a community page where you can post jobs. I think the Urban League still has a youth group. You can post it there. And then, of course, chambers of commerce and different trade associations. And usually those are free and you don't have to pay for that. And then also post a job like on Facebook and Instagram. You never know, or send an email to your family and friends. You never know who's looking for a job. Identify qualified candidates. Depending on what type of business you're in, you may want to conduct a background and reference check. The background would be for anybody involved in money, like if you're going to hire a bookkeeper, things like that, on staff, not like a contract bookkeeper. But if you're hiring someone who does sales and they're going to collect money, you may want to do a background check. And then anytime you hire someone, just talk to their references. Although some people kind of skirt around the references by adding family and friends, you can put that on your job application and say references, none family and friends, work references. And then I would suggest to have an evaluation matrix. And the matrix would say what's important to you. You may think that that experience is like 40%, and then what your references say are only 5%. So you decide what's in your evaluation matrix. Everyone's evaluation matrix is different, but you decide what you want to rely on heavily. Like if they, what their references says, their experience, and then their potential, whether you like them or not, their potential of grasping new ideals, you can also put that on your evaluation matrix, but have some type of concrete, because if you're interviewing 5 people at a time, you want to make sure you're just not saying, oh, I like them, or I like them. You want to have something concrete that says, okay, I like them in this part of the experience. I didn't like them in their overall customer service. So whatever you decide, it's your business, you can do. And then from there, you extend an offer. So when you hire an employee, here's the thing. You have to take out taxes. And sometimes in your budgets, small businesses forget that. And so the Social Security taxes, every employer must pay Social Security taxes at the same rate paid by their employees. So you take it out of their check, and then also you match that and send it to the government. You have to. There's just you can't get around that. So if you hire a contractor, you don't have to pay taxes. But we'll talk about the difference between the employee and the contractor is you have to make sure if you hire a person as a contractor, they have another job, and this is not their 40-hour-a-week job. They're different. The IRS is real picky about that, and they will ask questions. So make sure you take out Social Security taxes, unemployment insurance, if the business requires it. So talk to the state about that to figure out if your business requires unemployment insurance, and then workers' compensation. I say this all the time. Once you hire an employee and they are on your property, you need workers' compensation. One of my clients is like a nature preserve. and for the longest did not have workers' comp. They got workers' comp, hired a person, and within a year, the person fell on property. And it was a good thing that the preserve had workers' comp, because if they didn't, then they would have had to pay the medical bills and all, like, which included surgery, time off, and wages. So make sure you keep that up to date. You can get a estimate. It is usually done through the state of Texas mutual fund, or you can self-insure. Um, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. So for the self-insured, I think you have to put up so much money for your workers' compensation each year. So it's just kind of better to do it by the mutual Texas Mutual Fund, and then from there you just say how much the salary was for each quarter, and then they do a rate and you pay for that. So you can pay quarterly or you can pay by year. I suggest you pay by quarter, because by year you may have like a $2,000 bill if you have one employee. You probably should include yourself as an employee as well. So if anything happens to you, you are covered. Optional benefits are leave. Um, you don't have to offer that, but you can have leave benefits. Is part of the overall employees compensation and benefits plan. If you want to entice them to come work for you, you may offer leave benefits, and then which include a set number of holidays and vacations. When you're a private business, you do not have to take every federal holiday or state holiday. It is up to you how many holidays that you honor. Of course, most people honor the Thanksgiving, the 4th of July, Christmas, and then from there, you may or may not honor all of the holidays. I've worked for someone who did not honor MLK, but did not honor Columbus Day either. So uh, you had vacation time. How they got around that is you had vacation time, and you can decide whether you're going to take that holiday as a vacation day. Also, you decide how many sick days they have, whether they come in with 4 or 5 a year, or people accumulate one per quarter. You decide, and then you decide on your funeral and bereavement leave. Um, Sometimes, if it's a spouse or a child or a parent, and maybe a sibling, they may have 3 days. If it's like extended family, it may just be one for the funeral. However, you decide because it's your business. The Family and Medical Leave Act um, it applies to private employees with 50 or more employees. So it's up to 12 weeks unpaid leave during any 12-month period for any of the following reasons: birth and care of eligible employee's child, placement of adoption or foster care, care of immediate family member, and then care of an employee's own serious health conditions. So I know people use the FMLA once they run out of leave for maybe maternity leave, and then they run out of vacation, they may go on FMLA. So make sure that you follow the law on that, and that is written in all policy and procedures. So, and another optional um, benefit that you have is would be a health plan. Sometimes when you go to larger corporations, or even kind of smaller corporations who are making a lot of profit, the employer pays for the health plan, like 100%, or they may make you pay like 10%. You decide whether you want to offer a health plan and how much you want to pay. Um, will you match the retirement plan's pension? Sometimes if you put in 6%, the employer will match up to 6%. So you decide if that's what you want to do, if that's in your budget. Flex time with COVID, flex time was everybody just pretty much worked from home if they were not essential workers. But flex time, you may offer that you come into the office 3 times a week, or you come in 2 times a week. It just depends on what type of benefits you want to entice the person to come work for your company. And then I would suggest family events. When I worked for a company that did family events, it was every June or July, and we had some type of water park or some type of Six Flags event where we ate together and then we went out into the parks and did whatever. And it was a good time because you had an opportunity to know your coworkers' family, and to know their kids, people that they talk about all the time. Sometimes people were there for 2 hours, sometimes they stayed the whole time, but it was a good time. It was always like on a weekend, so it didn't interfere with work. So that was a good perk for that company. And then sometimes when you are like in IT or construction or something, and they complete the project early, you can offer some type of incentive, like it's a day off or 2 days off, or it could be like $50 a day. Whatever you decide, whatever you think is would entice the employer and employee, then that's what you do. Usually vacation works, um, but you can do with the upper management, like the project management or like a senior level executive, maybe the vacation time is not a lot, but for them, but maybe a some type of compensation is good for them. Workplace wellness programs, incentive to quit smoking and to lose weight, that helps with the office overall camaraderie, but it also helps decrease your health insurance costs. Because if you're offering incentive programs to quit smoking and for people to lose weight, that counts on your health insurance if that's what you offer. Also, gym memberships counts towards your health insurance as well. So look for different ways to decrease your costs and to increase employee morale. And this is just like the W-4 that you fill out for, you go to www.irs.gov, you fill that out for your employees, and then you figure out how much in taxes you take out. So you're not just out there guessing. There is actually a form, and then there's always support staff that hopefully you can get to. If not, you probably can put in an email on the website and somebody will return the answer to you. Um, you keep the W-4 for your files. You don't have to send it in to the IRS. And then also, this came up one time. Don't forget to check for child support issues. Sometimes people, men and women, job hop every 6 months because that's when the attorney general finds them on someone's payroll. And then once they owe back child support, then you as an employer, you're required to take out the percentage of whatever the Texas Attorney General tells you to. So sometimes if the person's getting paid $1,500 a week, they may be only getting paid 1,000, depending on how much they owe in back child support. And one of our sister company did a lot of work in construction and then did a lot of work in factory jobs. And they had a few people that would job hunt every 6 months because they didn't want to pay the back child support. So just make sure there's a website there. Make sure you check and the person's not on the website, because you as the employer will receive a email, phone call, or letter from the Texas Attorney General telling you need to do this with the next paycheck. So the next one is the employee handbook. And even if you only have 2 employees, I would suggest you do the employee handbook and put everything in there, just because you don't want anyone to sue you for something that was not in writing and that you didn't go over. So each business needs to set expectations and have a code of conduct for its employees. The general information will be an overview of the company, job classifications, employee referrals. If you are if you referred someone, is there a some type of incentive that you get that should be in there? Probationary periods. What happens when there's a first offense? What happens when there's a second offense? And then what happens with termination and the resignation procedures? So you need to spell that out in the employee handbook because, for instance, if someone has like a drug problem, will you allow them to go to rehab to finish? Or is that grounds for immediate termination? What is the policy? What's the legal policy? At the jobs that I worked at, they were allowed to go to rehab. And then once after rehab, if they did not complete the rehab or went back, then they could be terminated. But make sure with employee handbook and termination policies that you talk to someone in the legal field, a lawyer, and make sure that you are going by what is law. Standards of conduct, the employee conduct, what is acceptable, the construction industry, and then the coffee shop is totally different industries. What is said on a construction field workplace is a little bit different than what is in a service business or a restaurant that is tolerated. So make sure you spell that out. What is the dress code? Like in a service industry, if you are in a dress shop, you may require your employees to dress in business casual or some type of corporate attire, some dress and a jacket. If you're in an upscale restaurant, employees must wear white shirts or whatever you decide they wear, then you would put that in the dress code. Just like if you work in a factory, you require people to wear factory boot that is depending on what factory it is, but like with the construction, you have to wear the steel toe boots. So make sure you put that in your employee handbook. This is what's required, and this is what you expect the person to come to work in. Ethics, a section about ethics and legal obligations. Legal obligations would be what you expect from them for if something goes wrong, if they make a mistake in the order or things like that. Work schedules, just the work hours. Usually people work from Monday through Friday, but if they have to work on the weekends, let them know in the handbook. It can be weekends. If it's an overnight thing, who knows? If they're supposed to work overnight, if it's a call center or something, that may be possible. Attendance, punctuality, and reporting absences. Do you report your absence to your supervisor, or do you have some type of HR manager that you report that to and copy your supervisor so they can so you can keep track of all absences and any vacation days or sick days? And then guidelines for flexible schedules and telecommuting. So if you need to telecommute, let's say on the 16th, will your employee have to tell you by the 8th? Or can they tell you on the day before or on the day of? I've seen companies have like a 2-week notice, and sometimes companies will say, oh, just email me the night before, something like that. So make sure you put that information in your schedule. I'm sorry, in your employee handbook. And then it depends on the non-disclosure agreements, the NDAs, and the conflict of interest statements. I've seen this with like law firms, any type of company that has some type of proprietary information. They have NDAs and conflict of interest statements. So the NDAs sometimes will say you can't work for another company in the industry for like 6 months or maybe 4 months. So decide if you are that type of business and if you want to have your employees sign NDAs. Sometimes people will not sign them for a certain pay amount. So if you are like in a law firm or maybe a senior staff member, that is pretty much the norm. But if you're just maybe a coffee shop, uh, maybe you may not be able to do that. Or um, you decide it's your business. So just know that at some levels of employment, people are not going to sign NDAs. Um, you need to have a discussion about anti-discrimination policies in the workplace, which includes Americans with Disabilities Act and social media. I included social media because we've seen in the past couple of years that people have been on their own social media and they've gotten fired by a larger corporation because it's something that they said that went against company standards. So whatever that language is that needs to be in that employee handbook, you probably should put that in there about although you can do social media on your time, anytime you make my business look bad or you bring some type of decrease in sales or boycott, uh, you got to go. Employee handbooks should include a section about the laws and how your employees are expected to comply with them. So compensation, clearly explain to your employees that your company will make required deductions for federal and state taxes, as well as voluntary deductions for company benefits and programs. Just outline your obligations for overtime pay schedules, salary increases. If you do bonuses, also say, hey, bonuses will be discussed, but if you have if it's a sales business and you have, if they make over $100,000 in sales, then this will happen. If you have like a sliding scale, make sure you include that in there. And then talk about the employee assistance programs, tuition reimbursements, business travel, which is important because if they are going to see a client, you need to know how much they will get paid for each mileage that they went to a client and came back to your business. And any other thing, fringe benefits that may be of interest to the employees and to retain employees. Safety and security. With OSHA, with I say professional businesses, OSHA is not really it's important, but it's not really highlighted as in the construction industry and any type of manufacturing line facility business. But OSHA, just make sure that you report all accidents, injuries, potential safety hazards, safety suggestions, and health and safety related issues. Make sure you just keep all exits clean, like no boxes or any type of furniture obstructing the exits of your business. If it is a restaurant, you will have to report all injuries, whether it's someone being burnt on the grill or someone falling. You need to report that and make sure that they go see a doctor to see the degree of the burn, and also to make sure that they don't have any broken bones or any problems walking or using their hands or knees. What's your company's policy regarding bad weather and hazardous community conditions, which is a good thing to include, because if it's ice outside or snowing, like in Texas, we usually don't have that. Are your business going to shut down, or are you going to allow your employees to work from home? And then let's see, if you have a business that is like maybe in downtown Dallas, sometimes when they have protests, the businesses allow their employees to work from home. If they know it's going to be a large protest, you can work from home. If they were not aware of it and it just kind of popped up, then they allow the employees to go home early and tell them, please leave, take your laptop with you, please leave. We'll contact you if we're working in the office tomorrow. So that's happened. I've been downtown when that's happened. We were not, I'm not gonna say allowed, but we were encouraged to work from home that day of the protest. And then, just for one, traffic purposes, and didn't know what was going to happen to the building. All security policy, your security policy should include your company's commitment to creating a secure work environment, and then what your the responsibilities are. Please report any suspicious activity or event, and do not prop any doors open, and report lost badges and keys. And sometimes people don't report lost badges and keys because one, they're embarrassed, and two, there's a cost. But you never want anyone to come into the building, have your employees exposed to any potential issues or your products, because you may have products in there that people can steal with a lost badge and keys. So also, what is your computer and technology policy? Will you allow your employees to use Facebook during work hours? People use Facebook, Instagram. How much time will they be allowed to be on there? Will you monitor that time? And then, like if you are working in some type of, let's say a business where you are taking a client's credit card information, how are you going to store that? Are you going to store that like on a piece of paper on the desk, or do you have that information locked up in a file cabinet where the employee has to go pull the information, pay for the order, and put it back? How do you, or then if they are doing any type of credit, how are you going to lock that information up? And what is the employee's responsibility at the end of the day? Like in the insurance business, on the people that are on the floor looking at people's credit and whether they are a good risk for the company, all of that information must be locked up at the end of the day. They can't leave anything on their desk because that would include the the client's social security number, their employer ID number. It would include maybe revenues and sales, their client information, or any type of personal information for the client, whether it's personal client or a business client. All that information must be locked up. So that information must be in the employee handbook, how to handle that. And then media relations. Everybody sometimes wants to be in front of the camera. What will you do? Is there one person that handles all media requests? You may not have a communications person on staff, but you may designate a VP or yourself to handle all media inquiries. So if someone comes up to one of your employees and has a question about the company and there's a camera there, what you would say is, "Hey, please talk to my boss or the president of the company. Here's their name, number," and move on from there and say no comment. Or you just say no comment, but that is something that needs to be said in the company handbook. And just things to remember as we are wrapping up: buy workers' comp insurance, even if you have one employee. You may think that you don't need it, but you need insurance. You need insurance because anything may happen. Have an annual training session for your employees to be made aware of any changes in federal, state, and local laws. And then just training sessions about the company in general. And then you may want to have the training session to have some type of icebreaker, some type of fun icebreaker to have fun so the employees can get to know each other. And then remember that terminating employees, Texas is an at-will state. So you can fire, in Texas, you can fire an employee for anything with good cause or without. But you cannot fire an employee based on race, religion, or gender. And so that's different from most states, but Texas is an at-will state, so you can fire people just because, but not for race, religion, or gender. So if an employee is exercising a variety of legal rights, including the right to take family and medical leave, to take leave to serve in the military or to take time off to vote or serve on a jury, you cannot fire them. You have to leave their spot open. I know that people, sometimes when the U.S. is in war, if people are in the reserves, they are moved from their home to a Navy base or a Army base, Air Force base, wherever. You have to leave that job open. Now, you can't terminate them, but you have to leave that job open. And then sometimes if people are picked on jury duty and it's like 30 days or something, that job still has to be open. So make sure you're aware of that. If there are any questions, you can always contact a lawyer. And then I think now it's a lot different. But before you were able to open up business bank accounts with Social Security numbers and to do a lot with Social Security numbers. Now the government is making everyone move to the employer identification number. So make sure you get one of those. It's quick, it's easy to get it. You may be able to get it within 2 days. Sometimes it's a day. And then check to see whether you need state or local IDs. It may be different, like in California and New York, if that's where you're doing business at. Check to see what their rules are. I know that if you have a job in California or New York and you actually have people in that state, in those states, they have to pay state income taxes. Although they are still residents of Texas, they spent time there, which is, I think it's over 30 days or something like that, that they went and actually did a project there, especially like if it's IT or some type of consulting work. They have to pay taxes in that state. So just know that if you are drop shipping in a different state, you don't have to do that. But if you have people on land there, they will have to pay taxes. Sorry. And then you may have to pay taxes too, because you had some type of revenue. So just make sure you talk to your accountant about that, a tax accountant about that. And then know the difference between an independent contractor and employee. Be clear on the distinction between an independent contractor and employee. And in legal terms, the line between the two is not always clear. It affects how you withhold income taxes. We talked about the security taxes and unemployment insurance, and then Medicare as well. If they are an independent contractor, like a 1099, that's the form from the IRS. They should have another job, and the job that they do for you probably shouldn't take more than 20 hours a month. So like if you're hiring a marketing consultant, that consultant is not an employee. That consultant can be defined as a contractor. And with an independent contractor, you can search this on the internet. There's an agreement that you can have them sign, that they know that they are responsible for their taxes and you are not. And have them sign it, you sign it, and you keep a copy of it. I think, let's see. Oh, make sure you take care of the employee paperwork. Make sure you have an employee file with their W-4, usually a Social Security number, Social Security card, and then also a employment application. You decide on the pay period, whether you're going to pay them monthly, bi-monthly, or weekly. Some people, like the construction industry, and some restaurants, get paid weekly. So you decide, and for your business, you decide how you will pay your employees, and then also carefully document your employee compensation terms. As you set up the payroll, you'll want to consider how you handle paid time off, and then how you track employee hours. And that is it. If you signed up for the Zoom session, then you can go now. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Dan, do you have the link for the Zoom? I guess not. So if you have any questions, just make sure you go to the next Zoom session if you signed up. And then if not, I'm pretty sure someone at the church, you can maybe talk to Angelina and she can send the questions to me. But if there are no questions, have a good night. And thank you for coming out. I'm sorry, Shaniqua will post it in 2 seconds. Okay, so Shaniqua has posted the link, and I will see you in the Zoom session. Good to see you, Charles. Thanks, Dan. I'm about to leave.